Pat, can you tell us a little bit about, for folks that have never heard about 211, what do you mean call 211? What does that mean?
So 211 is a directory. It's an amazing directory of services in Maine, and some of them are for basic needs, for food, for heat, for all sorts of basic needs that you need in Maine. But it also has a directory, an up-to-date directory, which is real important, for mental health and substance use disorder treatment programs in our state. So if you call this number, you're going to get a person on that line that can actually hear you, listen to what your needs are, and direct you to a program that will help you through what that is. If you're struggling with substance abuse and you think you need a detox, they can help you to find that detox unit. They can give you a number that can connect you, whether that's residential or inpatient or outpatient treatment. And they're programs that we also know are do best practice. So we know that when something's listed in 211, it's a safe place for your family, because it doesn't have to be necessarily the person who is currently struggling with a substance use disorder that calls 211 looking for help. It can be a family member or a friend saying, I've got someone that I love or I care about who's in need of help. How can I do this? And what can you recommend? And so that's what they can do. They also, you can do a text and use a text messaging to get with 211. But it is your phone book. It is your yellow pages for finding quality programs within the state for both mental health and substance use disorders. And even in a crisis, it will be able to give you crisis numbers. And also, again, it is a bank for food and oil.
Great, thank you. So as I hear you talk about, what's wonderful is there are many options out there, and that in the 45 days that we've been adjusting to these extraordinary times, groups have rallied and provided an option, a menu of options like virtual, online meetings, but that if someone is really struggling, they can call the Bangor Area Recovery Network or the Portland Area Recovery Network and request a one-on-one coach or a one-on-one phone call. That would be
a telephone. They call it telephone support.
Telephone support.
They can get a telephone support number, and someone can support them over the phone.
Great. And then in smaller communities, how would someone know, let's say they lived in Brownville, how would they know if there's a group that's meeting in person?
So that's the tricky part.
Okay.
What I would suggest for them, because we don't know, because one of the things about self-help groups is they are anonymous, that they don't list themselves, but they do. If you go online, sometimes you can see that there may be something local. If you go online, if you go on to AA International or AA directory, they may have something there. But what I would suggest for that person is there are peer recovery centers. There's 8 of them, I believe, that are open now throughout the state. And I would call one of them, and Portland Recovery Center in the Barn, Bangor Area Recovery Network, both of them would know those numbers.
Gotcha.
And so if you called there and said, I'm in Brownville, or and I don't know, I want to go to a meeting, I need help, they would be able to direct you to something. Because again, we all don't have computers, we all don't have phones, but again, there are, like in Aroostook County, there's a peer recovery center. There's now, I think, 7 to 8 peer recovery centers, all unfortunately closed due to the pandemic. But they haven't closed to reaching out to people, they've just closed to group meetings.
Okay. That's really helpful. So I'm going to summarize, and you jump in and let me know if I've got anything, if I misunderstood. But in terms of a first place to start, particularly if you're someone that hasn't been in a recovery program yet, perhaps the best place to start would be to call 211, the directory service program that's statewide. because most of us are going to be facing more than one challenge. And so they can also tell you where you might find food or shelter. But 211 would let them know what services are out there. Another option is to call Bangor Area Recovery Network or Portland Area Recovery Network to find out about virtual meetings, in-person meetings, one-on-one telesupport, or recovery coach contact. And then I added your primary care physician would be another place to call if you're feeling really unwell and desperate. Again, they are equipped to help you. And then we have a list of suicide support and hotlines and whatnot. But it sounds like the first place for a lot of people would be 211.
I think it is. The part that worries us all, that concerns us all, is that one of the hardest things about substance use disorders is that it has a stigma to it, and we're sort of, you get embarrassed by it and you don't know. And so picking up that phone or looking something up or just even verbalizing I need help is the most hardest thing you'll ever have to do, because we judge that they're weak or they're, not in control of who they are. And so for them to pick up that phone for the first time is the hardest thing ever. It just is. And so it's really hard to send them to a Zoom meeting, and it's hard to send them to a stranger over the phone, but it's what we're stuck with right now. It's where we are right now. And so I think what we want to be able to say to them, it's okay. It's okay to call. It's okay to pick up the phone. We're going to do the best we can. In the worst of times, we can still do this. But it is the best. Right now, that's what we got. 211 is a good place, and it's got good people. And the peer recovery centers are out there doing the work that they need to do to help and support people. The recovery community is an amazing group. It's been a struggle for them to be on Zoom. They like being with people, and they like sharing their stories of strength and hope and courage. So this has been a huge challenge, but they'll get past it at a day at a time. And as they say in the program, this too shall pass. But yeah, 211, keep calling those peer recovery centers, are probably where you're going to get the best help.